springen wieder zurück auf 10 und fahren jetzt an die Ansatz 60.
I think you always need some problems. So I think that the risky, problematic situation around calling a show Rinascimento in Italy, of course, can signify the problem, which I think you always need a problem. Because problems are good ways to think about things. I mean, I always need a problem. I call them problems. Like, for instance, in Marian Goodman's show, I had this sculpture of David by Michelangelo redone as David sleeping, and that's a problem. To touch an iconic figure for such a strong period of, humankind, not evolution, but human. I mean, it's Renaissance, Rinascimento. I mean, it's a period of us being reborn. That's the reconnection with the earth, the life of. I mean, reconnection with the individuals. I mean, and coming from such dark, not very rich period of time in terms of thinking as the medieval was. I think it's kind of, yeah. But then the title appeared also because I was reading this book by Salman Rushdie called Los Versos Satánicos, and the first line said something like, to be reborn, you first need to die. And I was so struck by that line. It was so powerful. And that was my first idea. I wanted to name the show that way. But then talking to a friend, an artist friend, she was like, maybe too long. And then we were thinking, and then that's when we erased most of the phrase and left only the reborn, and then Rinascimento appeared. So I don't know how it relates. It relates to the show in a totally affective, emotional level where I feel this could be my last show. I could totally retire after this show, so that's also quite meaningful for me. That's another reason to name the show this way. I agree. Yes, I mean, Caravaggio is one of my favorite artists. I think, well, this show has different states and status, because during the day we have natural light, during the night we have this artificial light that I designed for the show to emphasize the theatricality of the show in a way. So I think Caravaggio pretty much, I mean, the whole Baroque period was a lot about theater and dramaturgy and theatricality. So I think this analogy is quite accurate. And actually, it's too recent, this show, in order to have much more to say about what I try to do. I try to be distant, and I try to be distant even from what I do. So I don't want to have any now formed, crystallized opinions about this project. It's too soon. It's always like this in my work. I mean, I don't have a studio, so I'm this nomad that has this team of collaborators. We arrive, we set a studio here, temporary studio. We were temporary residents of the city, so to say that the city influenced me or Italy, it's the most evident thing I can say about the work, because we became one thing with the institution, one thing with the city, as you perhaps live here. So I've been living here for a month and a half, so it's impossible for me not to react to this context. And this is one of the premises of my practice, actually, to be absolutely reactive and porous. I have a porosity, being able to be influenced. I mean, I let everything influence my work and shape and model my work. So, as you were talking about the theater director, the alien theater director going from one place to the other, I mean, this team reacts to this context and to my writing. So I script some sort of instructions, and then these projects start to appear. Also, well, these stones are coming from Istanbul, so also there's some sort of response to the time spent there and some sort of affection for Istanbul and for the time I spent there in Turkey. I lived there for 3 months. So, yeah, context for my work is everything. There's no story like there's this girl that met this guy and they fall in love and then they had children. I don't believe in like the Hollywood-esque approach to narration. I think there are forms, ideas that communicate from one project to the other. There are relations in terms of these stones actually appeared because there was this volunteer. She came to the studio in Turkey and her name is Ada. And I was needing these materials, but I didn't know where to find them. I was looking for stones, I was looking for certain like amphoras and elements that would relate strongly to the history of Turkey, but I was not able to reach a person that could connect me with the place, with Istanbul. And this person appeared just by pure serendipity as a volunteer, and 2 days after she appeared, she took me to this site where there were, I don't know, maybe 100 more times of these stones, this amount of stones. And I was like, something has to be done. So these connections and these stories they run in different ways. But there's no story like a fairy tale.